Hello.
Hey, how you doing? You doing all right?
Hi, how are you? How's well?
I'm doing good. It's been a while. Yeah, where are you calling in from? Hello?
Hello.
I said, where you calling in from?
Well, I'm calling in from Chicago.
That's what's up. Shout out to the side, though. I love Chicago. I really do. I really love Chicago. Yeah. And I was just
Thank you.
Yeah, I was just really sitting back thinking, though, like, just to get into it for real, like, it's, like, we always talk about, like, everything is within, and I really been paying attention to that and really seeking that because, and like we was talking about, everything they do externally, you know what I mean? The images, how they can live, like, you just think about, like, how we talk about religion and everything, how everything we learn religious-wise, with the images, the paintings, everything is all on the outside, you know what I'm saying? When everything we're really supposed to be seeking is really already within us. You know? And
Absolutely.
yeah, like, what do you think about that though, for real? Because, like, you actually gave me input on that. And, like, I really thank you for that, because that helped me out a lot. You know? And I just think about it like this. Everything really is a big lie in its flesh, you know?
Yeah, because, like, if you look at it, if you break everything down to its essence, everything is basically a perception of what's going on within you.
Right.
You know? And a lot of the times we open ourselves to a lot of mental manipulation because we focus so much on the exterior, others' opinions, religion, because we first must understand that everyone has their own perception. That's the greatness of the Most High, the Creator. Everyone has been given the freedom of seeing things for themselves. And of course we all come from one source, so we see as a whole, but we all have that individual, look and aspect to the way we speak. And as we go within, we start to learn ourselves more, and we also start to understand that personal relationship with creation, and the Creator. Giving us a much more, balanced outlook on everything around us, and also giving us the opportunity to discipline ourselves, because that's really necessary. We must discipline ourselves, to keep us, because we are in spiritual warfare. We must put a boundary around who we are.
That makes sense when you're saying that because, like you mentioned discipline, we are like spies. You feel what I'm saying?
Like,
we're like spies for like in a whole different world when you really pay attention to that.
Yeah.
That's like like we're really up against the Agent Smiths, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time too, it's who you're getting counsel from. You know what I mean? Because a lot, like you just mentioned that about boundaries. What do they used to say? Separation is the greatest illusion.
Yeah, true.
And it's really about knowing how to separate. And another thing too that I learned as well is loyalty. Like what we're loyal to. You know what I'm saying? Because
absolutely.
I noticed that like a lot of the people, think about it. Like a lot of us really are loyal to manipulation.
I agree.
You feel me? It's like we literally defend it at all costs. Just think about that. Like we literally defend it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy.
But you know what? It's like, you're right. That's the reality of it. But because we were born into this, a lot of us have been fashioned and programmed to accept things. And when the truth or when something, an opposing thought contradicts that, it's like a shattering, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to like hold back that ego, that attachment to what you've been, you've believed for so long. You feel me?
Yeah.
So.
And I really, that you mentioned like I did a breakdown, because I actually mentioned this to someone else too. I did a breakdown on Damian Lillard. I'm a basketball player for Portland. And I looked at, Portland literally means the land by the port. And when I thought about that, I said, wow, that's deep, because you think about, the Babylonians, the spiritual Babylon that sits upon the waters, And when I looked at that and how his name Damian means to conquer and tame, and I was looking at the role, how he played, like, with how they put him on a 2K21, for instance, they call it current generation. And we were talking about the numbers, PS4, Xbox One. But I look at that, I'm like, that's so deep, because how he wears number 0. And I'm like, this is crazy, because when you look at that on the trailer, he got all the people being synchronized in the system. And he's like, everything is game, And and it's like you're getting synchronized, you know what I'm saying, and tamed, because only way we can be tamed is by distraction.
Right. Because, like, if you look at it, the obvious is that everything has a polarity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's existence. And there's the positive aspect of uniting, and then there's the negative aspect of uniting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you bring the minds together, there is an amazing amount of energy and expression that can be, brought forth.
You know what? You said that, the uniting.
And also, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's deep. You said it, because 144, and you think of that. It's the reason why it's a certain chosen who come together, not everyone.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's deep.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was like, when you look at the cover, how he wears number 0, and then the basketball player Zion, it's crazy. Because I was talking about, remember back in the ancient times when you put your hand by someone's side, that meant oath. And like in the time of Abraham, the time of Jacob, you know what I'm saying? But when I looked at the picture, Damian Lillard got his hand under his thigh while he's dunking, and Zion has his hand on his, his hip. You know what I'm saying? While he's dunking, and I'm looking at that, how Zion wears number 1, Damian Lillard wears number 0. I'm like, that show how that literally represents everything coming into fruition of a one world order, because Zion is the next generation, like the newer systems. So I'm like, that's crazy.
That's deep. Yeah, definitely. The correlation is interesting. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
How you put that together?
Yeah, how they like everything gonna be, he's gonna draw many crowds for the next generation. The whole trailer is nothing but Revelation 12 playing out before our eyes, And it's deep. You mentioned these things. That's why I said, like, really fixing the kingdom within it's hard, because you lose people doing that, and a lot of people are afraid of being like. I used to be around a lot of people, all the time, parties, a lot of people. But once I start coming to who I am now, it's select. You know what I'm saying? Because like we were just talking about, separation, boundaries. Like
absolutely.
Yeah, and it's like
it's one of the most important things to have, especially with everything going on around us today. And it's just in general, everything. You have to have a firmness of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to sustain a firmness would be to discipline yourself and also to have boundaries within your own consciousness. So there won't be like infiltration. Because like you said, we are attracted to manipulation. And so that was deep.
That's crazy. That's deep you said that, because if you remember the movie Us, that's what the whole thing was about. The infiltration from the subconscious and conscious surface mind. Duality, how the subconscious switch with the conscious mind. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? That was so deep how you broke that down like that. It made me think of how like you were explaining how a lot of things that we do, like eating or take in visually, all of those things play a big part in how these things are brought forth into fruition. Because the subconscious mind is taking in the truth of all of that. And a lot of that can be pretty ugly, especially when your mind has been programmed to see the beauty and oblivion, and the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And so, at a certain point, all of that is going to overturn.
Mm-hmm. That's
especially
true.
with the raising of the vibration.
Yeah.
All of that you were suppressing is going to come to the surface, essentially.
Yeah.
And so,
you mentioned that. Yeah, 'cause everything that's just like putting water, boiling water, or anything with a lot of pressure, and basically like fill up something that can't hold water. Eventually, it's going to crack when it get overfilled.
Absolutely. Anything.
That's deep. You mentioned that right there because that made me think everything with everything we take in is weight and pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And think about that because, like you said, we try to, for instance, now that you just brought that's a great point. When you look at, for instance, how we try to hold traumas back, family. Families. We all got something in our family and we try to keep secrets, but eventually it's gonna come out because what's done in the dark come to the light.
Exactly. Simply said.
Yeah, on a simple term, everything that's done in the dark comes to the light. But everything that we take in, think about how we look subconsciously.
Yeah, right.
Like monsters, Space Jam.
And it's intentional. It's intentional. Everyone has grown up watching these things all around them.
And the thing is too, we walk up the street, you can't control it because they got signals in the airwaves telling you to stay calm.
Right.
You remember the movie They Live did that? Remember he was walking around with the sunglasses and
right. And he could see eventually what they really were. Right.
Notice it was called sunglasses. Like the light within, came to fruition, That's how he was able to see. Yeah. And the whole world was black and white and it was aliens. Alienated demons, reptilians.
Right.
So I think about
and then you can also see the subliminal messages, the how we're being presented. Remember, as he was looking around, he could see the advertisements were really just being, influencing people to continue to consume. That's exactly what I'm talking about as far as the sublime mind. It takes in all of that too, and it can be quite ugly.
Yeah, and that's like we live.
While you stay in oblivion on the surface, in the conscious aspect, and you're living as though, you're ignorant,
Yeah, and I be just listening to people and they be talking about the civil rights movement. They kill our leaders. Those people are your leaders. Them people are just for instance, you got a comic book, and inside that comic book they're a hero. But in your real life, they're nothing. They're not real. That's how a lot of all of the leaders they gave us are. And they play a movie before our eyes, so we'll think, yeah, man, Dr. King was fighting for us. Malcolm X was fighting for us, But all that time, they're only alive in the TV. Real people seen them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it like that now. Real people. Yeah, some people wouldn't know, but I'm like, they're real people, but they all playing a script,
Yeah, because a lot of the times that's what I think, the whole media is meant for. It's, everything is scripted, So, it's meant to give a perception, not to allow others to create or to see for themselves.
Imagine imagine if everybody thought like this, how much we wouldn't go worry about, okay, well, like I was doing a breakdown, and I gotta let you see it. I don't know if you've seen the one I did on the Gucci. I did one on Louis Vuitton and Gucci. And the Gucci, when you understand, like, it's so deep, you know, how we've been talking about, like, the kingdom within, you know. And I'm going to Job 9:9, the Most High speak about creating the Orient, the Pleiades, etc., you know. And when I noticed that about how when you look at the Orient belt, it literally connects to the top of the pillars of the pyramids, you know, through all the Giza pyramids. And when you understand the belt represents protector, like mediator. And when I'm looking at this, and I look at the masonry, like the Lewis stone, how they don't like to use the literal Lewis stone. They don't like to use it because that's the stone that they abandon. Because as is written in Psalms, they abandon the foundation of the world, which is the Messiah, the true living mediator. You know, and notice how, yeah. Reject the stone. That's what it's talking about. Because the rock, you know, as it's written in Psalms 2, I think it's 19, that the Most High is the rock. And you remember how he already said that in the kingdom we'll be a pillar in his foundation, you know? So I look at that and building the kingdom. Here are these things. Now we're talking about the kingdom within us. So I look at that.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's so deep.
I put it in my Gucci breakdown. And when you look at the belt is a rope that literally like pull, you know, the Most High gets exalted high. That's why Isaiah 14, Lucifer said, I'll become as the Most High, exalted high. Because they, you know, you got the all-seeing eye with the masonry because that's them exalting him. But when you use the rope, notice how we sag now, like sagging is a fashion.
Yeah, deep.
Because you have no type of mediator, you have no connection with your God, you know?
That's support.
Because,
you know?
Yeah, and now you're in nakedness. And remember you told me to do that movie Naked. And
yeah, that's a love deep.
Yeah, that all connect with that, you know?
Yeah, that's a missing piece of the pyramid, like you say, like the pyramid that they have on the top of the field. And then they have the missing piece, and then there's the awesome line at the top.
That's literally them exalting, like with the Babel Tower. Remember Nimrod built the Babel Tower to go higher than the foundation of the Most High. That's why the Most High brought it down. You feel me? So like, look at this stuff that you see that missing piece. That was deep. You said that. Like this stuff. That's why I said that Satan will be brought down and will be in the sides of the pit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they don't understand this knowledge because we automatically deem it as evil when you don't understand what it's talking about.
Yes. You know?
Like stones. We use stones. You feel me?
Absolutely.
It's who is the bearer of this wisdom? You know what I mean?
That's right.
Right, you know, everything we all use it. The Most High loves the smell of cannabis, as is written in Isaiah. You know what I'm saying? All of this stuff is all there, but you know, they teach us, oh, this is evil, get away from that. But cannabis, all of that was anointing oils.
Wow, and I just learned that. That's crazy you're saying this, because I had been doing some research and going through, because you know where I was at. You know, I was examining what I was saying, but you know, with the perfect thing about the Creator, the Most High, is that it's the energy will always take you full circle so that you can understand fully, you know, what you are proclaiming. Okay. So when I was proclaiming everything I was proclaiming, I really didn't have the backup to say the things that I was saying. And so I decided to do my own research. And, you know, I learned a lot. And basically what you're saying is confirming all of it, you know, everything that I have gained in knowledge as far as this aspect. But yeah, that's deep.
Yeah.
The private campus, and honestly, I feel like it's important to know these things about it before you just indulge in it,
Right, and that's why a lot of I had Stephen I did a breakdown of what was about Centoya Brown, and the sister didn't know. I don't think she really knew about, because a lot of this stuff we not taught, because we're literally we're like, we think everything is just plain words, but everything that's written is real and reality. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're the book of life. Everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's there. You said it, man. Like, we really are the book of life.
The jungle book.
We can get scientific with it. People tell me, like, I feel like science and spirituality is one.
You just think that's deep, because you saying that because your DNA literally holds encrypted data.
Come on. Yes, absolutely. Come on, how can we just miss that?
And the Most High, they say the Most High's name is literally, I gotta really delve deeper into this, but the Most High's name is literally
It's imprinted in our DNA.
Yeah. It really is. That's why that's why they give us sickle cell. That's why they gave us all of these leukemia, all of the diseases that attack your blood cells, and and attack your blood, attack your DNA, because they want to destroy the Most High.
Yeah.
They can't reach him, so they kill his image. You feel me? It's just like mafia. Think about it, it's like a mafia. For instance, say for instance, somebody's dad in the mafia did something to my family, I'm gonna hurt his family. You get what I'm saying? It's the same thing that us.
It's the closest thing that you're attached to emotionally.
Yeah, and you see how we're his image and they hate us because we literally are higher. Believe it or not, because angels were made, but we were made in the Most High's image.
That's amazing. Amazing.
So it makes you sit back and think, like, words and numbers, people all, and that's why I said I was like Centoya Brown. I'm like, I connected the dots. That was based on a movie from *64, and it's the same story as the girl Sarah Kuzan in 1994. I'm like, this stuff is the same story, and they just do it over and over again, because I think I did this on my Megan Thee Stallion breakdown. And what I broke down about this, you know how they said they killed their pimp, right? Centoya Brown.
Right.
When you pay attention to that, when they say they killed their pimp, what that represents, you know how the Most High has the royal scepter, the cane. You feel me? And notice how the feminism and the Jezebel spirit wants to destroy the masculinity. When you look at the female reproductive system, it's like a goat. It looked like a goat head. And that's why, and that's why they said they killed their pimps, because that represents them fighting the royal scepter, the authority of the Most High. That's what it all represented. That's why they gave us that story. And notice why they said she went to jail, because basically in this world, the Most High is the enemy. You feel me?
True.
So the royal scepter is, okay, look, we're going to fight the authority, kill authority. That's why the man's name was John, because it's so deep when you look at that, because John literally derives from Jacob. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When because John comes in the French comes from John, which means James, which means nothing but Jacob. And you know how out of Jacob comes the royal scepter, which is nothing but the Messiah. You feel me? Through the tribe of Judah, rooted from David. You feel what I mean? So what they were saying basically when she killed Johnny Allen, that's why they had in the story, Johnny Allen was a church guy. He was a great man with the church. You don't remember that story with Centoya Brown? That's what all that represented and meant. You know what I mean? That's why they had that whole story like that. That's why I had to put it in the Megan Thee Stallion. Because now notice why females being like excuse my language, like the slut of like hip hop, like the slutty, you gotta be that way in order to make it. That's why that's that whole thing of prostitution. You feel me?
Right.
They want us to be spiritual whores. That's all what it is. This stuff didn't kill your pimp. Meaning that, remember the Most High said He give us a bill of divorce because we were like whores unto Him.
Yes, I remember. And so, yeah.
That's deep, right?
It's way more deeper than the physical aspect. It's spiritual, you know?
Yeah. Johnny
Imagine for mothering and raising, you know?
Sex slaves. All of that phone, get out. They say, yo, they sex slaves. Yeah, because you were whores of wickedness. They were programmed to become whores, you know? This stuff makes you think. Yeah, that's why I've been detaching from just being, you know, bold print. You know what I'm saying? I see that too, because you gotta have that, but like when you see stuff for what it is, that's why they always give us these agents. There's so many agents out here that
I could definitely see the pattern. I can also see how it's all reference to the Messiah. The leaders all are a representation of the Messiah. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody. Yep, that's why they do the why do you think you know about Fred Hampton, right? Because you say you're Chicago. You know about Fred Hampton. You remember the guy who he was with, William O'Neill. Why do you think they had William O'Neill play the role of Judas? Here, I did a whole break. You gotta check out my Jason.
You did? Oh yeah, check it out. That's how
the will
I must say, you got some great material. I try my best to keep up to date with everything. You have so much. But I must say gratitude because you taught me a lot, and it made me want to go and research on my own, And so it also gave me a doorway to really have an opportunity to escape this battle I'm going through as far as trying to stay within, because there's so much around me that's trying to influence you.
That's
absolutely.
I was walking. Actually, I went out in nature today. I was walking, and this old man had stopped me. He was like, "Hey, come over here, man." So I walk over there. I ain't gonna ignore him. I walk over there, saying, "Hey, how you doing?" And he was just talking to me. He was just like, "Hey, take a tea." I don't even drink tea, but I thought about you really pay attention to all of these. It's simple. It's everywhere. So I take the tea, and then that's when he started just talking. He's like, "No, man, He said, you gotta embrace who you are, embrace your name, man. Carry that, be that, And I was just like, wow. You know what I'm saying? After I heard that, I needed to hear that. Because I was like, yeah, it's true. We gotta really embrace who we are, but how do we embrace who we are when all we do is look in the mirror and see the person that they created?
Right. You gotta go within.
And we literally have...
We've lost that connection with intuition. Intuition is the spiritual aspect of growth, of protection, and we've lost that. We've lost a lot of different things, just antenna-wise,
That's
to
deep.
keep us.
Yo, that's the antenna. That's deep. Go ahead. That's deep right there.
So I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, because I noticed that too. When you look at that, that's deep. You said that a lot of us have lost that intuition. That's why we're out there and you see we die young on the streets.
Yeah.
Because we can feel it. We know what? Let me not go here. You're like, no, man, get in the car. And you're like, man, now you're dead, dying, laying down, about to take the last breath, and you're like, I should have stayed home, or I should have. Think about how many people have died in unknowingness.
Yeah.
And it's sad because you don't want to expire. I remember it's in Ecclesiastes, you don't want to die before your time. And not even just a physical death, a spiritual death. Because that's the worst death of them all. Dying while you're alive, and think about it, it's like nothing. Nothing zombies. Remember we were talking about this a while back about the zombie aspect. Yeah. How you was like, think about death literally don't even want to take you away. They just let you roam. You know, this stuff, it runs deep, but that aspect of staying within, or at least going within, is just like, that's a whole different level. You can feel it on people. A lot of these, have you noticed, like, not to literally just keep carrying on, but have you noticed, like, a lot of the people you see, everyone is trying to get that spiritual self back, though. They're trying. I'm glad to see that. It's the effort. People want to escape. And it's so sad. That's why they give us these agents. It's like, yo, this is what it is. This is what it is. Because you will follow that. Now you got used to that. I might have like 5 million followers or 500,000 followers. And yeah, you know, you follow this. Yeah, this is what you do. This is what you do. But it's really getting you nowhere still. Because
no, because you're still searching. It's like if you're looking for the solution outside of you, you're gonna continue to keep going to something to teach you or to fulfill that need, instead of taking the time for yourself to look and research and go through the cycles that life gives you to learn, you know, because a lot of us ignore the lessons that life gives us as well.
Notice they gave us, yeah, you're right. Notice they gave us all the leaders back in the old days. And then, like, you know, Dr. King, Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, like the 60s, that's the last bit of them that was really around that they gave us. Where they, you know, they projected onto the screen. And then notice they gave us the Pac in the 90s, you know? They gave us Pac, and really when you look at Pac, he really was like a standalone, because it was like Pac and everybody else, you know?
That's right. How did we not see the repetition?
Yeah. Think about
like
that. Every time. And they always Pac became who he told you not to be, because that was his whole script. Become who they tell them, don't be this, don't be thugs, don't be that, but then give them this and say, let's live by it and let's embrace it. Like, basically it was so deep that role that man played, because the thug, like the hate you give little infant F to everybody over, and like how he literally became that infant that he was talking about. That he told you not to be. The dude gets shot in the head, gets shot 5 times, and go into court the next day with no wounds or nothing. They just put a wrap around his head. You know? Like, come on, man. That he's walking the next day. You know?
Right.
Like, it's just all of this stuff we see, and it's like when them people like that come around you, that presence, you felt that God presence on them back then. You know, like you'll feel that. Imagine being around Pac and people like that they gave us. You will feel that power that was on them, because they were worshipped, you know?
Exactly. That's the only reason why you feel that, because they are really conduits. They're taking in all of this energy from masses of people. That's why they're able to achieve what they achieve and do the things that they do, because not only are they receiving these change through finances, but they're receiving like an elevation in their energy as well.
Yeah.
So it's like you're transmitting all of this energy once you actually get to meet them, only because their source is the people.
Exactly. And you know what? That's why you know that this whole world that we're living in is fallen angels, because they know how to control humans. You know what I mean? They tell us it's, you know, television, but really that's nothing but like casting spirits. That's all it is. You know? So they know how we operate as people, and it's easy to control us. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. Yeah. It's true.
So yeah, that was a great conversation. So we definitely I'm gonna definitely have you back on here again.
You know what? Thanks for inviting me, man. I truly appreciate the opportunity to get to talk with you.
Oh yeah. It's been a while. I'm glad you're doing good. Glad to hear you're doing well and everything.
Yep, everything's going good.
I really been just glad to see that you really are like, I can tell you on a path now. You're not no longer really just searching. You're finding it and just you know.
Definitely.
Yeah, for real. So I'm gonna definitely be in touch with you, and
Okay, yes, I'm gonna hit you up, and I got some other topics and stuff that I think would be quite interesting for you, man. So, we'll keep in touch. And thanks again for inviting me.
Oh yeah. Likewise. Thank you, and I'll be definitely looking forward to hearing about those topics. So have a blessed day.
All right, man. You too. Till next time.
All right.
Bye.